Hi, I'm Pat Iyer, and I'm here with Wendy Votroubek. Wendy, can you tell our viewer a little bit about your business, where you're located, and what types of cases you've been handling?
Thanks, Pat. I am in Portland, Oregon, and I am in year 11 of my business. And we take care of both civil and criminal defense. And I will say that during the midst of the really shutdown area of the pandemic, virtually all of our cases are criminal defense.
I know that it certainly changed the complexion of cases in courthouses and the fact that courthouses were not open and that it became harder for attorneys on the civil side to be able to manage their cases.
Right.
What I know about you, Wendy, is that you have at a pretty early stage in your business, I've known you quite a few years, you came to the realization that many LNCs get belatedly is that if you've got a system for making attorneys feel special and feel well cared for, they are more likely to return. And that seems like an obvious statement as I say it.
Right.
And yet you've got a process that I invited you to talk about at our domestic violence conference that's taking place on June 9th and 10th, 2022. Can you give our viewer just a little taste of the subject matter that you're planning to cover in your session?
Sure. One of them is that whole relationship building, because you can get an attorney client, but the whole thing is making them feel special and really working on the relationship building with them. So then when they get a case that involves medical records, there's no question in their mind that the first step to do is to contact you for help with how to make sense of what's in the medical records. So it's not only that relationship building, but it's also how to best do your work, whether it's written or in oral form. So then you will be able to keep that attorney client as well.
And we know that the airlines say, we appreciate you flying with us. We know you have other choices of airlines. And
Right.
we do know the attorneys can choose other LNCs to work with, and that hard-won client who is unhappy can walk down the hall, the proverbial hall, and find another person to assist them.
Right. And, you know, I've had occasionally attorneys will email me or call me with a complaint or an issue. And I go out of my way to say, thank you so much for bringing this up, because that's a way for us to do better quality control and to really improve our workflow and the work that we provide. So nothing goes without a thank you, pretty much.
What are some of the things that people will be able to walk away from with after your session?
Well, one of them is the whole thing about working with public defenders and how to best work with the public defenders and to get access to them, and then understanding the whole issue of state authorizations. And then the other one is some of the things that I've learned along the way as far as working with the subcontractors, but also the logistical tips as far as really that relationship building and steps as far as when you bring an attorney on board. And then I'm one of these old school people that my marketing is not internet. It's US Postal Service, because if someone has something in their hand, I think that fires off different brain cells than simply reading it online.
And the US Postal Service appreciates you, Wendy.
Oh, yes, they do. Yes, they do.
I remember when I was doing bulk mailing way back when, I would walk in and the postmaster would say, and Pat, how many times a year do you think you'll be doing this? And how many pieces in each mailing? It seemed to help justify his existence in this little sleepy post office in my New Jersey rural area. Oh,
Mhm.
a mailing. Here comes a mailing.
Yeah. And, I've been doing return of investment and it works out too, where it's sending handwritten cards and doing postcards. It's like people call me on the phone and say, I just got this postcard. Here's a case for you.
And isn't that a wonderful thing when you hear those words?
Mhm. Yeah. Yes.
Well, for you are seeing this video, you haven't signed up yet for our conference. It is covering the topic of domestic violence and specifically intimate partner violence. We are having 2 full days virtual, June 9th and 10th, 2022, with a group of speakers, including attorneys, legal nurse consultants, medical experts, a variety of people to prepare you for expanding a practice to include criminal cases. And if you have not yet put your toe in this water, to give you some tips on how you can best develop this as a practice. Thank you,
Right.
Wendy, for sharing your perspective with us this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
And you will see the link for the conference right below this video. It is lnc.tips/DV, standing for domestic violence. lnc.tips/DV. We'll see you there.
And also, Pat, any presentation that you do, it's well worth the money. And you're not paying me to say that, but your stuff is always top notch.
Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
All right. We will see you at our top-notch conference.